Warning. The Dragon Between podcast may contain language and adult humor that is unsuitable for those 13 years and younger. Viewer discretion is advised. You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that takes place in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every other Sunday and released on the following week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for clips and future episodes. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. Thank you for listening, and now on with the show. When the characters last met, the crew of the New Horizon responded to a cargo spell below deck, and the characters found themselves defending against living spells that were contained within the damaged containers. After a fierce and deadly battle that spanned several decks of the airship, the group discovered 4 casualties: 2 of the Warforged crew, the Quartermaster Grimly, and the security guard known as Vernon. The party members located on the command deck observed the apparent source of the freak thunderstorm, an elder elemental creature that flew off to the northeast away from the New Horizon. After stowing the corpses of the fallen in cold storage, the group tended to their wounds and went about personal tasks, including Auri and Zito's studies in the library and some frivolity between Ender and Gunthral. The next morning, the airship arrived in Fairhaven, pulling into the Chalice Center docking tower. As the crew went about their tasks immediately unloading the freight, Eli and Ender disembarked the vessel. They were then met with a familiar face, their monk companion Koratari, member of the Royal Eyes of Onder. As Captain Eli began to explain the New Horizon's recent mishap in the sky, Lathana found herself waking from a terrible nightmare and discovering a handful of used arrowheads within her pillowcase. Koratari, staring into the eyes of Eli, a little bit of indignation in his eyes as he is currently standing between you and the intended cargo for the royal family of Wynarn.
So, about this cargo mishap. Tell me what happened.
Let's start with this. Why don't you tell me why you lied on the manifest? What was in this cargo? Load that cargo back on the ship. Yes. So it looks like your queen thought that the Horizon Corporation was an easy gig to lie, just because we're new, we're not stupid. I was born at night, but not last night. We need some more pay. Hazard pay. I lost 4 crew members.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we're going to have to discuss that. I'm not exactly authorized to give you more money because there was a mishap on the way here. I am sorry that you lost crew members. However, we did discuss that perhaps the Queen can help you with it.
Oh, don't worry.
The accusation of lying on the manifest?
Yes. The manifest was obviously wrong. And
May
Eli,
I see the manifest?
Eli will hand her the manifest.
Okay. As you hand over the manifest for the intended cargo for the University of Wynarn, care of the royal family of Wynarn, you can see, Koratari, several of the crates appear to be in order, except one of them, if it was brought off of the ship, or if it's missing, is listed as carrying living spells retrieved in the nation of Karnath. Specifically from an expedition to the Mournland.
So, this cargo that went missing, or excuse me, broke and was damaged, is listed right here, is it not? Carrying living spell?
Jeremy, you told me outside a game that they lied on the manifest.
No, I did not, but thank you for calling that out in the open.
Because we were talking about it.
No, what I said was that you didn't personally inspect the cargo. You went on the word of your bosun.
You said that something about that they didn't tell us that it was going to be hazard. That's what I'm saying. Because I went on the assumption that you told me that they hazard material. They didn't put that on there.
Specifically, what I said was hazard pay, not as in, hey, in game.
Okay, well that changes things, but because he told me one thing.
But don't use off-table knowledge with in-game knowledge.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Eli, he told me that Eli would have been lied to about the manifest. That's why I was a little confused.
Okay.
Well, hey, Eli, I put that buddy in the freezer. That's where you wanted it, right?
Eli, as you turn around, you see Gunthroll coming off of the ship from the cargo hold.
Oh, this isn't his leg. This is, something that was in the freezer I took.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Put him in the freezer. We're sorting this out right now.
From behind Koratari, now, Eli, Ender, Gunthroll, you now see these huge creatures, these winged steeds that give off the outward appearance of what appears to be some sort of griffin-like creature. They look like a cross, though, between a bird and a dragon. And there's a single feather that rises up from the top of its beak at the center of its forehead, straight up. And it just sort of bobs around as it's this one, after actually several that are assembled, and a few of them are just sort of chicken walking across the platform. Walking, stepping over shorter individuals. And the one that's closest to Koratari now regards the three of you and sort of tilts its head to the side and then back. And then almost impossibly so, turns its head all the way around upside down and is now looking at the three of you. And it just lets out this... And as you continue to stare at the creature, its right front talons and is sort of scratching at the side of its face, ruffling its feathers. And you can see there's a melding between the beak and sort of a scaly-like skin, which starts to blend into the feathers that arc backward from its head.
Looks like chicken tonight.
And as soon as you say that, the creature goes and looks at you and just sort of bobs its head a few times. And of course, Koratari, this is your mount, your Dragonhawk mount, Quick Thistle. Of which is but a handful of Dragonhawks, which were lent to you, Koratari, as a means of a swift passage to Fairhold, which is the center of the government here within Fairhaven and on Dare. It is the home of the royal family.
She pats Quick Thistle on the head and says, "Don't worry, he won't eat you." Now, back to this business.
Yes.
So, it seems that the manifest is correct, and I don't know what else we have to discuss except your payment.
Yes. Well, like I said, they didn't inform us there was hazardous materials on board, which, to my knowledge, that adds the hazard pay, which would cover the fees of the resurrection. Yes, about like, I think 10,000 gold suffice.
Jeremy, would How much is this cargo worth?
It's definitely not worth that much, nor is replacing the dead crew members. Which you would, of course, know. A resurrection would only cost about 1,000 per individual. And of course, you would also know that you are not authorized to make that sort of decision. That would be something that would have to be discussed with the royal family, since this was a delivery that was intended specifically for them. But it just so happens you have the means to take them swiftly to Fairhold to speak to the royal family, if that isn't something that they would like to do.
Well, that sounds perfect. Then perhaps we should bring the royal family in to discuss this matter, since it seems we may not come to an agreement on our own, Captain.
No worries. I'll be happy to. Oh, please lead the way.
Now,
before you go off into the wild blue yonder, Captain Eli, would you like to bring the rest of your group with you, or would you like to go off alone?
Well, I'm with him.
Oh
Right.
yeah, I thought.
Ender's there, Gunthrow's there. The rest of your unless they say so, the rest of your group is apparently still on the New Horizon.
Oh, okay. 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll walk on the ship. Tell my crew to load back the cargo on board. And I'll call everyone else down.
The bosun Gripjaw just sort of sheepishly looks at you and he says, I'm sorry, Captain. And he immediately begins.
What do you mean, sorry?
I thought they checked it. It's my fault.
It's your fault. You mean the manifest was right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, get out of here. You're fired.
But the captain.
No, fired. Get out of here. Get out of my sight.
And the shifter male just sort of looks at you, dejected look on his face, and then he pulls the blue sash that's on around his waist, and just sort of whips it off and lets it fall on the ground. The wind catching it and taking it off of the platform, off into the sky, and off of the platform over the edge. In the meantime,
4 people died.
The Warforged are gathering the materials, and now with no direct leadership, they are just sort of moving the crates on their own volition. In the meantime, what are the rest of the group doing? We'll start with Zito. What are you doing, Zito?
After Zito woke up, Zito's gonna head up to Eli's room and talk to Lathana about imbuing her bow.
Oh, I didn't know Lathana was in his room. Interesting.
Oh, in Eli's room.
Right.
No,
I did.
Lathana was. I think Lathana went back to her room.
Wherever you were.
Yeah, she's in her room.
Alright, well, Zito will go to Lathana's room and ask
Okay.
and ask her about getting her bow and
And you're in the room, Lathana?
Yeah, she is. You walk in and you see Lathana pacing the room. Her hands are balled into fists, and she's about to pick up her bow and arrow and string it and shoot.
Is everything alright, Lathana?
No, everything is not alright. Not at all.
I mean, I understand that you were recently kicked out of your family, but it seems like something else is getting at you now.
Looking at Lathana, she's very, very close to loosing that arrow, but you see that she has tears kind of welling in the corners of her eye.
Well, I'm not gonna push anything. I just wanted to talk to you about your bow. I wondered if you would let me to take care of it for a while. I can improve it on it.
Well, she kind of sits down on her bed and that would be wonderful. It's just I feel like it's the only thing that ties me back to everything that I've known. It's really hard to maybe ask me tomorrow. And she just kind of puts her head in her hands and just yeah.
Aw.
Zito's gonna lightly tap her thighs and like it's gonna be okay. And he's gonna awkwardly leave the room.
Wait. Do you have 2 seconds to talk?
Yeah, I can talk. What do you like to talk about, Lathana?
Oh, so much. I got a message from my cousin Esmer this morning. Right after I had a terrible nightmare. And, it's come to the worst. The
What's this
Castellan.
message?
We talked back and forth for a long time, but apparently the Castellanters have taken over the Aisha mansion. We had been around for 5 generations. How in the world could they do that? And everyone's gone missing. All my sisters are missing or dead, and there's no explanation. Nobody's. And I can't even remember how Tamir died. I can't. And I don't even know who my children are. I don't. She just starts to kind of quietly sob.
Lathana, did you do anything with what you found in your pillow?
Nope, it's sitting right there.
Zito, you happen to glance around the room and you see just a smattering of what look like arrowheads. And they look very similar to the ones that you've grown accustomed to seeing adorning the arrows that Lathana uses. And these arrows look filthy. Some covered in grime and dirt, some covered in what you can only assume is possibly dried blood. And they're just sort of scattered around her mattress on the end table.
Lathana, what's with all the arrowheads? Are you making your own arrows?
No,
Have you been like? Oh, go ahead.
I woke up and they were inside my pillow. I don't remember how they got there. And my cousin Esmer said that someone had delivered them to her as well. It doesn't make any sense.
That's funny. I think Ari had something delivered on her pillow the other night as well.
Oh, really? What was it?
I think they were flowers.
Well, like, that's nice, I guess. Compared to these gruesome things, and
But when we found out what those flowers were, it seems like that she was familiar with them, as if it was like recalling something from her past. Could these arrowheads have anything to do with your past, Lathana?
yes, it has everything to do with my past. A past I can not even remember, but I don't. But I know they happened, and I don't know why I don't remember. There's so many things that I almost feel like have been erased from my memory. But by who and why? I don't know. There's so many questions. She kind of then looks up at Zito and says, "Thanks for taking the time. My cousin Esmer will be joining us today, if that's all right with everyone. I'll talk to everyone when we get down, but I have loads of questions for her, and I figured she could come. She was nearby, so you guys might get to meet her."
I don't mind at all. And I'm sure no one else would mind if your cousin came along.
Okay. She kind of she unnotches the arrow from her bow and sticks it in her quiver again and says, "All right, I guess I'm calm enough not to shoot people. I will. We should probably head off the ship."
Is this where Eli will send his message?
Hey, everyone aboard the New Horizon. We're meeting the Queen to discuss terms. Payment for our journey. If you'd like to join us, please come now. If not, enjoy yourselves aboard. Thank you.
What about you, Ari? What are you doing on board?
Well, before his message, I would have been sitting up in that room at the top layer where the food is, and I would have been just having breakfast. I don't know if I was alone or if anyone else was up there, but until I hear his message, and then I'll head down.
There was someone in there with you. For very briefly, the first mate was in there, and he was sort of flexing his wrist. Presumably the one you'd heard had been broken during last night's incident. And he just sort of nodded at you, smiled, and left the room. And Eli, as the group that are still on board the New Horizon are assembling, getting their gear together, you just happen to notice one of the passengers bound for the Elding Reaches, Volo, who is now sort of gingerly stepping off of the cargo deck doors, and he's stretching. Oh, Volo, Captain, sir, how are you?
Yes, good. How are you?
Slept like a baby, sir. Am I to understand that we've made berth here in Fairhaven?
Yes, for the day. We'll leave first thing in the morning.
You don't mind if my ward and I go into town, do you? I have some business in town, and then, strangely enough, I have an invitation. It was just sent to me by Queen Aurala, Wynarn.
No worries. Yes, head to the town. Just be back tonight at 9. I think we're setting sail overnight.
Oh, well, I have a dinner party invitation. I'll be attending that, and then I'll be coming back to the ship.
Sounds like a plan. I'll see you around.
Thank you, sir. And he just sort of wobbles off of the ship, sort of weaving past the different crew members that are continuing to still move the crates back onto the cargo level of the ship. The Harlequin-like lithe individual just sort of pads behind him and almost cat-like, and just sort of turns and appears to regard you, but you can't tell because of the mask that's affixed over their face. And after some time, Zito, Auri, Lithana assemble down just outside of the cargo doors, meeting their companions. And seeing Koratari, an old friend.
Koratari.
Hello, Zito. Hello, everybody.
What brings you here?
Oh, well, the Queen heard of our, our adventure, if you will, and requested me to be head of the guard. So here I am.
Quick Thistle just sort of bucks against your back a little bit, Cortari, and immediately starts lunging towards Zito.
Oh my god!
And reaches out with one of its
Zito's
clawed
gonna hide
hands.
behind Ari.
And it takes a swipe, almost playfully, and then it just starts making this strange noise. And then goes around in a circle, following Zito. Presumably, if you're continuing to hide behind Auri, follows you if you sort of move around her. Auri, you see this huge bird with features that are similar to that of a dragon, and has this plume feather that sticks straight up between where its brow is, right above its beak, and it sort of wobbles as its head is bobbing up and down.
Hey, easy, play nice.
And it just sort of
so sorry.
flutters its huge wings a bit, nearly blasting you and Zito back off of your feet a little from just the force of the wings beating. And as you scan past that one, you can see others that are just sort of milling about on the platforms, very quickly running across the platform, hopping and bobbing every so often. Cortari, you would notice this behavior is that of the Dragonhawks are becoming antsy and wish to return back to Fairhold.
She'll pull. What's his name?
Quick Thistle.
Quick Thistle. She'll pull Quick Thistle back. I apologize. It seems they're ready to get back to town. I must have a word with you all, however, before we. I do want you to know, and then she turns to Captain Eli. Regarding our conversation about payment and the shipment and etc. We should probably be wary when we talk about that. Maybe lead into that a little gently. This is actually an invitation, a quite unusual invitation to dinner for the Queen. I just want you all to know that this is a huge honor. She does not typically invite people, with the exception of Bolo. So please just make haste and she kind of trails off. Sorry. Please just make sure that you understand what an honor this is, everybody.
We've been invited to have lunch with the Queen.
Yes. She, one of the reasons that I'm here, she was very enthralled with our tale and, wants to thank everybody personally for all the work you did hunting down that gruesome vampire.
I don't have to ride that kobold-eating bird, do I?
No, you don't have to. We have other means of travel.
And Cortari, you would know that Quick Thistle is an awakened Dragonhawk. It understands common. And it just seems to regard Zito for a bit, bobbing its head a little bit, and then takes your lead.
Don't worry, Zito. He likes you. And then we'll turn and start.
Okay. Like you would like me for lunch.
As you begin to lead Quick Thistle towards the edge of the platform, the rest of the group, you can see now that almost in quick succession in a formation, one after another, these Dragonhawks begin to assemble behind in a line right behind Quick Thistle. The occasional and clicking of beaks, the sound of the talons thunking on the platform floor. Surprisingly big enough to even carry someone as formidable as Gunthral.
Are we supposed to ride these things?
They've been provided to you as a quick means of traversing the air over to the southeast towards the Fairhold complex, which is essentially a series of towers and the center of government within Ondair. And you can see off in the distance this column of towers that radiate out up into the sky at what appears to be the center of the city.
Eli will look at the creature and I guess I'll try. I'll try to hop on.
Okay. As you approach the creature, it turns and regards you, and it almost as if it's bowing to you. And it hunkers down so that you can easily find purchase and get up on them. And you can either ride together, it can carry a couple of individuals, a single Dragonhawk, or you can have your own individual Dragonhawk. There are more than enough of these creatures on this platform milling about that seem to look up and poke their heads around and turn in quick succession, quick movements, looking in the direction of this assembly of the Dragonhawks, as if they're looking to see and anticipating whether or not any of you would like your own personal conveyance.
At that moment, Lithona disembarks from the airship.
Okay. And you are now seeing this strange procession. Your companions are now a bit away from the New Horizon, and you can see them in their own rights, one after another, attempting to climb aboard these large steeds that appear to be similar to a giant eagle, but quadrupedal. They have 2 arms, 2 legs.
Lithona had gone to the kitchen to fill up her flask with some pretty strong mead.
Yes, you actually found you found the dearly departed Grimly's secret stash of Skull Splitter, which is an orcish mead.
Yep, I grabbed that and I filled up my flask, and now I have walking down the platform and joining them to try to hop on one of these.
Okay. So you're all assembled now. Are you all attempting to climb aboard these creatures and fly off?
Yes.
Okay. Koratari, once you see that the entire crew has assembled, you can guide Quick Thistle towards Fairhold.
Great, let's head out.
With a quick giddy up, light kick to the sides, Quick Thistle lunges towards the edge, jumping off, diving down, and then swooping up into the air. Its wings spread out majestically, begins flapping, huge flapping sounds, the air against the feathers. The remainder of the assembly of these Dragonhawks throws all of you forward, one after another, over the edge of the docking tower. And you can all feel the exhilaration of the wind blasting you in the face and against your body as these creatures call out and flap their wings ferociously. And in quick succession, you find yourselves bared aloft towards the center of the city of Fairhaven. And after some time, not that much time at all actually, you find yourselves coming into an arched portcullis on the side of one of the towers. When settling down, one after another, the Dragonhawks bear you down towards this platform, which is within one of the towers. And very quickly, Koratari is able to leap off of Quick Thistle and find a post to hitch her Dragonhawk to, as you are each, one after another, in 2s and 3s, land on the surface of this area of the complex. And Koratari, you now gesture towards a series of double doors that lead you. As you point towards it, you can. 2 of the guards now open them up, and the double doors lead into a long, vaulted ceiling hallway, which leads off into the center of the complex. And do you all follow in?
Yes.
Zito is going
Yeah,
to.
of course.
Zito's going to get off on the side that will not eat him.
Okay.
He's going to
I'm
get off on the
stay
back
close
side
to
and then take a
Zito.
wide berth.
Okay.
I'll put myself
An
between.
extremely wide berth.
The Dragonhawks are a bit excited at the sight of you, Zito, and a couple of them take a few nips a few inches away from your legs, but don't appear to be outwardly trying to get you. It was just more, it seemed to you at least, it appeared as though they were just trying to, like, goad you forward.
They all say.
And,
Just go out in space and then go inside.
okay.
Just love
I'll
bites.
walk between them.
Cortari just waves and keeps walking.
After a bit of time, the procession of the group, you find yourselves passing through this long hallway filled with guards standing at attention. This appears to be a main audience chamber, and at the end of the chamber now you can see a tall dais, and on the dais you can see a series of 4 chairs. One's a bit higher than another that is directly next to it. It's a bit taller, and there is a female with sort of a strawberry blonde hair that cascades down. She's wearing a red dress, sort of a scarlet colored hued dress, and she has a crown affixed to her head. And she regards all of you as you begin to get closer to the beginning of this dais, this series of steps that lead up towards what you would assume to be the throne. And this, of course, Cortari, would be Queen Aurala, Aurala Weinar.
Cortari will bow. Your Majesty. These
Hi.
are my companions.
Ah, yes, the ones I've heard so much about. Welcome.
Yeah.
Please, present yourselves. Tell me who you are. And she begins pointing to each of you, allowing you each to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Captain Eli of the New Horizon.
The New
Like a little
Horizon.
Yes.
Lovely. The ship that brought the supplies my consort ordered, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it did.
I'm afraid Sasek is not here at the moment to receive you.
No worries. We have some things to discuss.
Very well. And she sort of looks at you, and one of her eyebrows raised a bit, and she looks to the rest of you as you guys don't have to go through the motions if you don't want to of introducing yourselves one by one and telling her your life story. I will assume that you did so in a polite manner. Unless you'd like to.
We can also assume that Gunny maybe hit on her.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking.
She just sort she's just sort of one leg over the other, sitting in her throne, an elbow resting on one side, her hand out gesturing, the other hand resting in front of her. And she says, "Very well, let's have this discussion. It seems to be of quite importance. What is the meaning of all this?" Captain Eli.
Yes. The cargo. See, I guess I found out new information. One of my crew members wasn't doing the job properly, but he accepted a job, bringing yours cargo here without hazard pay as, let's say, one of the living spells broke open, escaped from the box, and it sadly, unfortunately, killed 4 of my crew members.
Well, that is very unfortunate. I'm so very sorry. This business with this cargo, this damaged cargo, was arranged for without my direct knowledge by Sasik. Sasik being my consort to the royal family. It's for my father's old collection. Sasik has been keeping it up. You said that you lost people.
Yes, let's just say some of the living spells got loose. We didn't realize that was on board. But
And
it was a mistake of my crewmen for not informing me, so I'll take...
There's a sound of a series of doors that open on one side of the chamber. Eli, as you turn and look, you see a very regally dressed man who comes storming forward. And he has a bit of paper in his hand. He's got thinning hair, black hair, a thin mustache and goatee. And as he comes up, he says, "My queen, this is most irregular. I've just heard that there was an accident on one of the shipments that was due for today." And the queen looks at him and says, "Yes, we were just discussing that, Sasik, if you'll be a bit more patient. This is Captain Eli and his crew of the New Horizon, you said, Captain?"
Yes, my lady.
Apparently they had some sort of a mishap from the delivery that you arranged. What can I do for you, Captain Eli, to try to make this go away, if you will?
Well, usually, let me calculate here, the original agreement versus hazardous pay, which would be double, 5,000 gold and 2 resurrections. If you wouldn't mind, my lady.
Double would have been more like 3,000 gold, Captain Eli. That's the DM talking. Or no, excuse me. That's not even true. Let's see. Your delivery to Fairhaven
was 2,500.
Was 450 gold, sir.
Oh.
So it would have been 900 gold double.
Oh, that's too little for hazard pay. Alright. 2,500 and 2 resurrections, my lady.
And she just sort of looks at you and she says, "Done. Sasik, you will make the arrangements for Captain Eli and his crew. Am I to understand that you'll be joining us for lunch?"
Oh, if you... Yes, it would be an honor, my lady.
I'm
You
sure
like kind of smiling.
I'm sure that that Sasik will have the arrangements taken care of before lunch. Please feel free to lounge if you will. If you have no other business here in town, you're welcome to have a free run of the apartments here. Lunch will be served promptly, and I believe in 2 hours from now. So if you wish to have a tour of the grounds, you can. And I believe you have a local celebrity joining us this afternoon. And she turns and looks towards you, Koratari.
Yes, my lady. Volo. I don't know who.
Volafamp Gadam is on his way, yes? And she seems to brighten up even more when she says his name. She just sort of bounces a bit in her throne. And
Yes, I did see him embark off the New Horizon.
it's wonderful, lovely. Sasik, dear, please, if you would be so kind as to take care of that business, and please do it quickly. Sasik will take care of everything. Just talk to him. And I need to get ready for lunch then. And she rises from her throne now and begins to descend from the dais. and turns and looks at Sasek and says, please make sure that the prince and princess will be there as well. They wanted, of course, to see you, Koratari, but they were also, I believe, Prince Rogar was interested in meeting yourself, Captain Eli, and your other companions.
Yes, it would be an honor.
The honor
Can't
is mine, of course. It is not often that I get such folk of such importance in my stature. I don't receive guests very often, and a person of my stature, I have to make a scene or give off impropriety, if you will.
No worries at all. I'm very honored that you extended your invitation to us.
The honor is all mine, I assure you. Now please, I will see you all at lunch. With that, Sasek, dear, please, take care of this. And she snaps her fingers. And the gentleman, who is obviously dressed in opulence, just dripping in crushed velvets and silk shirt, jewelry, he just looks flabbergasted and a bit red in the face, and he turns and he looks to you, Eli, and he says, "This way." And he turns and goes back to the direction that he came from. The double doors, the loud double doors, big, wide, 9-foot tall, steel-enforced wooden doors. And he leads you into a small office if you follow after him.
Yes, I follow after him. I'll grab my sending stone, and you can unload the cargo now. We figured things out. Thank you.
And on the other end, you hear your first mate says, "What do you want to do about the crew, sir? You fired the bosun. We're now short-handed."
I'll look for some crew in the city after lunch.
Very well.
Unless you want to look for crew as well. Maybe the both of them could conquer it more easier.
I can do that, sir. There's no problem.
Thank you. Just make sure they're more reliable this time.
I'll do my best.
Alright, thanks.
And what are the rest of you all doing? You're now left to your own devices in this large audience chamber. Eli, are you following after the gentleman?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Is there a court wizard?
The chamber is fairly barren of individuals, other than armored individuals holding, wearing plate armor, some of them wearing breastplate. But you don't see any individual that of arcane nature within the audience chamber. Just giving like a cursory glance around.
Excuse me. She has someone who's either a servant or the person near.
You see a young man, probably in his early 20s, face shaven, blonde haired, and he turns, he says, "Oh, yes, miss."
Is there a toilet nearby? I want to prepare a bit for the lunch.
A water closet, yes. Follow me, please. And he begins leading you down through another set of double doors on the other side of the chamber towards a bathroom for you.
Okay. She steps inside, she pulls out her blonde wig and fashions that on, and she turns her glamour weave into a nice, springy, tea time looking dress. She looks nothing.
Okay.
And she will also contact Esmir and see if she's close.
And she responds. She says, "Oi, fucker, I'm here."
Alright, I'll be the blonde-haired chick wearing a tea time dress looking nothing like myself. So, come disguised, I'll make it.
Okay, so not as ugly as you usually are. Gotcha.
Yup, not as ugly as I usually am. See you soon.
Okay. And what are the rest of you doing? Zito, you mentioned looking...
Or anything?
Yes, there is actually.
Alright, Ari would be exploring that.
Okay. You find what appears to be your classic glassed-in greenhouse, which is on one side of one of the towers. And after wandering the halls for a bit, you discover this apparent jungle indoors, which is very similar to the one that you observed when you first met your companions back in Sharn.
Yeah, I'm gonna be exploring in there for the time being.
Okay. And Zito, you said that you were looking for someone of the arcane variety.
That or a library, whatever one I can find first.
Okay. It takes you about a half an hour of wandering the long, vaulted, ceilinged hallways that wrap around the towers, but you eventually stumble across one of the largest libraries you've ever seen. Even more so and more impressive than the one in the Order of Orion.
Oh, wow. Zito's gonna look through the books and see if he can find anything about elementals or the elemental nodes that he's been studying for the past month.
Okay, so you want to spend your time doing that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what about you, Ender?
I am going to be following Eli like a hawk. I feel like he might get himself in trouble, so I'm looking over him, as those are my old bodyguard tendencies, after all.
Okay. And what about you, Gunthral?
I'm following Ender.
You're following Ender? Okay, so the three of you head towards the office of the gentleman that the Queen sent you to after. Sasek Dividalis introduces himself as the consort to the Queen. He is a very lithe man, and he seems a bit shrewd. When you enter into his office, he tells you not to sit on any of the furniture. And he looks to each of you, and he looks to you, Eli, and he says, "Very well." And he turns around, and you can see him pass a hand over what you would assume is some sort of a lockbox. It's seated behind his desk. And as he passes, you see lights emit a few inches away from the front of it. And you can see arcane sigils turning and spinning. And you can hear the sound of a mechanism unlatching and unhooking. And he pulls out some sort of a lockbox and opens it up and reveals just a whole stack of gold galifars. He turns, he looks. I believe the Queen said 2,500 gold, yes?
Yes, and 2 resurrections.
1,000 gold apiece, so 4,500 gold. Did you want us to arrange for the resurrections, or would you prefer to pay for them yourself and deal with that?
I would like, if you would prefer to make arrangements.
We can certainly do that.
I appreciate it.
Is there
Thank you.
anything intact from the shipment, Captain?
Oh, yes.
Did anything survive?
Almost all of it, except some of those living spells.
And he just sort of looks at you, blank face for a moment, and his skin starts to turn a bit red, and he furrows his brow, and he says, "It's fine. If you will arrange for the remainder of the intact cargo to be delivered here to Fairhold, we will, on your honor, we will give you what you deserve." And he begins to take the stacks of gold galifars, and he's taking them out in trays of them out of this lockbox and setting them on there. And over time, he counts out 2,500 gold, and he hands it to you in a very fine-looking. It's a leather bag, but the bag has it's been almost looks like it's been felted on the inside, and it's blue. It's a blue colored leather, and on the side of it you can see the iconography of the Dragonhawk crest of Onder. And he cinches it after counting it 3 times. He counts it and then puts it into the bag and hands it over to the 3 of you.
Well, thank you. And I'll say, anything else? I'll make the arrangements. Everything else is pretty good.
We'll have your crew return to you at the docks. I imagine they may be a bit groggy from being dead. And,
no worries.
Derek, did you want me to just drop that into your inventory, sir?
Yes.
All right.
And as I'm walking out, I turn around and say, you're welcome. Usually living beans cost 1 gold per mile, but I gave you a discount. And I walk out.
And he just sort of goes, the Commonwealth. And did the 3 of you do anything else after meeting in Sasek's office?
I look at Ender and Gunny, man, I'm really good at negotiating. She took my first offer.
You should have asked for more.
I know! I thought I was asking for more. I thought we were going to get lower. Man, I'm really good at this. And Eli kind of smiles and proudly walks.
So you're all passing time within this complex until lunchtime, correct?
Yes.
Damn.
Okay.
Yes.
After some time, Lithana, you have an individual, not unlike the individual that you asked to be led towards a bathroom, comes to you, and the familiar sight of your family member, Esmeralda Aisha, greets you. And she is not dressed as nicely as you. She appears to be wearing finer traveling clothes. They're not dirty, but they look like they're old, like she's been using them for a while. She has a purple pinned cloak that is thrown back over one shoulder. She's not carrying a bow, which you're accustomed to seeing her carrying a bow. Instead, she has a light crossbow slung at her hip, and she has a set of short swords.
As soon as I see her, I run right up to her and give her
Give her the business? What?
No, give her a big hug.
And she grabs you, big warm hug, and says, "You're scaring the Straits. Why are you wearing this ridiculous getup?" And when she says that to you, the first comment, you can see the somewhat embarrassed gentleman works for this facility, looks to you and sort of, my ladies, if you'll follow me towards the dining hall.
Oh, yes, of course, and I would follow.
And as you turn and walk, Esmer just sort of punches you in the shoulder.
No, gonna lie, I was a little drunk when I made the decision to wear this, so...
Since when do you drink?
Oh, since this whole clusterfuck has happened.
Fair enough. Let's go drink some more.
Sounds great, it's on me.
And as you two are led towards, in a procession towards the 10-foot, these now narrowing and lower profile hallways, these still opulent, thick, beautiful blue carpets stretched as far as the eye can see. These straight and right-angled and some curving 10-foot wide tunnels, or almost like tunnels the way they're set up, because at this point there's no windows that lead out to any sort of natural light from the outside. Everything is lit from elemental lanterns, which are posted every 15 to 20 feet. And one by one, each of you are led in procession by a member of the staff of this facility towards this long banquet hall. And when you all arrive, you find that the queen is already seated towards the end of one of the tables. And you can see a amber-colored haired individual, a female, who has her hair pulled back in a neat bun. And she is wearing a frilled pink silk dress. And it has a sort of a cascade of material that stretches out, almost threatening to trip the help as they walk by and set trays down in front of her and presumably the queen as well. And then there's a muscular, thin male with sort of a strawberry blonde hair. It's a bit tousled, and he sits back and he looks as each of you begin to enter into the chamber and says, "Ah, mother, you were kidding. They're all here. Welcome, please sit down. Find a place to sit immediately."
Zito will take a seat in a nice plushy chair at the table.
Okay.
I'll
And
sit beside Zito.
all right. What about the rest of you?
I'll sit, of course.
Lithana will sit down and she will say, my friends, I almost forgot to mention, I invited my cousin Emma to join.
And Asma just sort of looks at you, shoots you a glance, and says, "Nice to meet you. I'm Emma."
Eli walks in and, oh, hi, Emma. Oh, did you know she was my date? Eli sits down too.
Oi, you gotta knock this one up too.
Yeah, Lithana looks at her with a very dirty glance. She's like,
Come on, you gotta get back on the horse, cuz.
as they sit down, she kicks her under the table.
Ow, you bitch.
You're the bitch. Shut up.
And as you all are seated before the table, the one by one in quick procession, a few other individuals sit at the table, all looking of very nicely made fine garments. And in the extra chairs that are seated, they all sit down, and the queen says, "Please, I must apologize. I never like to sit here at the dining hall with empty chairs. Most of my staff I invite to lunch with us whenever we don't entertain others. Please pay them no never mind, they won't bother you. But please, help yourselves. If there's anything in particular that you want that we haven't provided, we will attempt to get it for you."
Well, thank you for the hospitality.
Well, thank you,
That's
Captain
fine.
Eli. I assume that Sasik, who will not be joining us, he is apparently otherwise occupied elsewhere.
Oh, how unfortunate.
I assume you've been properly received recompense. You have received what was promised.
Yes, my lady. Thank you again.
And I was just informed recently that Sasik has arranged for the resurrection of your crew members.
I'm grateful. Thank you again.
It's,
You know,
it is
this could lead-
the least I can do.
no worries. This could lead to future business arrangements, if I may.
Possibly. And she looks and turns and looks towards you, Cortari. I assume you've also joined them for lunch.
Sure, why not?
And says, I would be grateful, Koratari, if you would make the arrangements this time. Where there's no more misunderstandings.
Yes, of course. my lady.
So, I don't mean to be rude, but to be quite honest, most of what I've heard about all of you is the stories of your exploits. Tell me, Captain Eli, where do you hail from?
Well, I'm a Stormbringer. I hail from House Leandar.
Leandar.
Yes, ma'am.
Can't say that I've heard of Leandar. Would that be Lorandar?
Oh, Loranda. Yes.
It's quite loud in here. I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
And looks over past you and begins to scan with a smile on her face, looking to each of the companions that she hasn't yet been able to introduce herself personally to yet. And she looks to you, Gunthral, and she says, "My, you're a big one." And I just noticed that Gunthral's AFK. Looks past and towards Ender.
Yes, I am a big one.
Sir, you appear to have... You appear to be of Orc descent?
Yes. From the Black Marchers.
You mean the Shadow Marches?
Yes.
I'm gonna start deducting XP every time you
From the Orc Marches.
Every time you guys get your backstory information wrong, I'm gonna start deducting XP. I'm just kidding.
I need post-its all over my computer.
I can't even pronounce it. Like, I actually struggle to pronounce it.
He hasn't been able to pronounce it for 2 years. Come on. So I'm assuming you said Shadow Marches. She looks to you and she sort of furrows her brow a bit and she says, "Truly, you appear to have the vestments of... Tell me, are you a samurai?"
No longer in service.
No longer in service. Interesting. I've always been quite fascinated. Prince Ragnar, he's been fascinated with the region as well. And as you look,
It's an interesting place. It's gone through a lot of changes from what I've heard.
and as you look across the table, Ender, you see the prince is looking back at you, just sort of beaming, and he says, "I would be honored if you would join me after lunch in the office, in the study, and perhaps we could talk in private about the region."
I would be delighted, Prince.
And he looks to you, just smiles all around. "Has it been a while since you've been back in your homeland?"
It's been a couple years.
I of course, I couldn't possibly understand what it's like to be away from your homeland. I've lived my whole life here and on there. And other than my time setting up the Royal Eyes during the war and attempting to keep my people from dying during that nasty conflict, I can't even imagine what it's like to be away from home for so long.
Well, you take it day by day, I guess. But I long for certain parts of it, of course. And I'm on my way back.
Well, Ragnar knows more about the region than I do. I'm sure he'll talk your ear off later. And she continues to look down the line, just sort of locking eyes. She sees you, Zito, sitting in some sort of facsimile of a booster seat to bring you up to the same eye level as everyone else. A Master Artificer, I hope that everything is to your liking.
Oh, yes, everything's fantastic. I spent the last 2 hours perusing through your library.
Oh, well, if you'd like to borrow something, please feel free.
I may take you up on that offer. I'm actually looking for information on the elemental nodes that have been appearing around the world. Do you have any books about that?
Well, this is of something I know a little of. We haven't had any of them appearing. I have heard, of course, of these nodes you speak of. Perhaps you can visit Arcanix and maybe speak to the Arcanist there. Perhaps they can help you. This is, of course, something of a relatively new topic, elemental nodes, to my knowledge. Not quite sure what tomes you might be able to find in the library, but you're more than welcome to see what we do have and take whatever you need.
It's most appreciated. Any information that I can find is worth more than gold right now, as these nodes appear to be having our search parties go missing.
I have heard of that as well. That is very unfortunate. I can't imagine what the families of those missing spellcasters are going through right now. They've been missing for many months, correct?
Yes, one has been missing for a few months, and I believe another one has recently gone missing.
My word, this nasty, unfortunate business. Well, if there's anything at all that we can do to help in the efforts, I'm sure that the Prince will. He attends to most of our affairs nowadays outside of Fairhold. Prince Rognar will be able to help you with anything. I'm sure he'd be more than happy. And the Prince, he just sort of nods his head in agreement, looks towards you, and raises a glass.
Well, thank you. I believe we'll have a nice talk after lunch, Your Highness. And he gives a nod to the Prince.
And he returns the nod, continuing to salute you with his drink before he takes a nice long swig. The Queen continues to scan around, looking to each of you, and catches the eyes of Auri, and says, young miss, what did you say your name was again?
Ari.
It's very pretty, Auri. It's so very nice to meet you. You said that you... I believe you mentioned that you had been to our garden.
I have. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yes, one of the druids from the Eldine Reaches grew it for us. And we, of course, gave him a supply of dragonhawks. It's been quite some time since he's returned to Fairhaven, but you're more than welcome to spend as much time as you'd like in there. There are various enchantments in the glass that keep the plant life healthy at all times, even in the cold winter months.
It's really appreciated. I will definitely spend more time there. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And she continues to sort of look like she's looking, like she's trying to look past you towards the double doors that lead off in the distance away from the chamber. And then she turns and looks towards Esmer and Lithana and says, young miss, are you getting enough to drink over there? And she just sort of chuckles into the back of her hand as she looks at you, Lithana.
Oh, I'm doing fine. I've got plenty, and she definitely looks a little tipsy. And I'm Layla Aisha, and this is my cousin Emma.
Aisha, Now that's a name I've not heard in quite some time. I believe that we had a contract with Aisha not too long ago to provide weaponry for our troops. And specifically for the Sky Knights. I believe you provided lances for our Sky Knights. Your company, that is. How is your company doing these days?
We're doing great. It's all fine and dandy.
Esma just sort of like laughs, and her hand says, "Good going there, La. Please excuse my cousin. She's had a bit too much." Ella, you are embarrassing us. This is a queen. What is wrong with you?
I thought the Aisha Weapons Company is doing as good as ever if you leave out the parts that they just got signed over to the Castellanters. But other than that, we're doing great.
My word. Am I to understand you're describing a hostile takeover of your family's company?
No. Just, the Force signed a contract that they didn't even know about. So, yeah, maybe.
That is most irregular. Well, if there's anything that we can do to assist your family or yourself, I know you hail from a different nation. You're not Ondarian citizens. We've dealt with your company in the past, and we've all enjoyed a very profitable arrangement. I don't understand why this happening to you and your family will obviously affect us. So if I can help you in any way, I will try my best.
Lathana takes a second to kind of collect herself and says, well, I will do my best to make sure that your contract is fulfilled and everything is done smoothly. We've been around for 5 generations and we've never disappointed. So I would personally make sure that it is taken care of.
And on that note, would you all like to take a quick break? It is 8:30.
Yeah, it's not a bad time.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll be back here shortly. I will be here for those of you who don't wish to take a break.
Maybe.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Gunny's gonna attempt to get a drink out of Lathana's whatever.
Oh, her skull splitter? Does she even have any left?
I don't know. I don't know if she's got like a giant bag or is it just a small.
What can she fit in that dress? That's a good question. I just imagine she was carrying around a keg under her arm this whole time.
Well, now that I know her routine, I'm gonna cast remove poison from it, which is the alcohol content. So it still tastes like it. It just doesn't.
Okay.
The good thing is she's under her mic, so she has no idea.
That's awesome.
So she get light whenever she gets to that slight buzz thing. That's when I'll cast it.
Okay.
Every time that we're around, and she's drinking heavily, I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, there are attendants who are refilling your glasses. As soon as you're down to about 2/3 gone, they're offering to refill your water, your alcohol, whatever beverage you ask for.
I can see Eli pushing the limits. Like he tries to down it and then see how fast they come over and ask him.
Well, the pictures they're using, they appear to be similar to your steins on the New Horizon. within your meeting room. The personal goblets. They seem to be refilling.
Pitchers. I gotta get some of those.
Hey, Queen, can I get some of those too? You just throw them in a bag.
As a parting gift?
The thing is, like, one of those hotels, you just take all the soap and the towels.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
I mean, she did say whatever you need.
Yeah, it's true.
Lathana returns from a short daydream.
She takes a nip and just, until her next nip.
So what just happened?
Lathana doesn't know. I'll tell you what, make a perception check, Lathana.
Okay.
Is she drunk? Wouldn't that be a disadvantage?
She's like buzzed. She's not completely drunk. She was over exaggerating a little bit.
Make a Constitution save, Lathana.
Oh gosh. No.
Since I'm pretty sure you said you've been. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Hey.
She's holding her liquor quite well, actually.
Oh, until she gets to that point.
She looks a bit flushed, like maybe she feels a little hot in that dress. That's.
What?
So you walk back in, and you can see Gunthral staring at your little decanter, barrel, or wine bag, whatever you put the skull splitter in. He's staring at it, and he seems to be manipulating his fingers a little bit. But that's it. He only looks at it for a moment, and then he looks away. And he looks back over the table, and he's like, "Oh, there you are. Hey."
Oh, hi, Gunny. I know you always love to share, share a drink with me or two. I'm not feeling great today. Why don't you take a sip and we can drink like friends? And she looks at him very, sweetly,
From the side, in your ear, you hear Esmer say, "Hey, cuz, when are you gonna climb that tree?" And she just sort of elbows you. She just sort of elbows you in the ribs. You can make a perception check to see if you hear her.
Well, I have a 23 observation base.
Yes, you heard her whispering something, so make a perception check to see if you heard it. You definitely heard her whispering and looking in your direction.
She jabs Esmer in the rib very hard.
You heard Lathana climb that tree.
Ah, okay.
And she has sort of like a salacious waggling of the eyebrows when she did it. Looking your direction.
This is your sister, huh?
This is my cousin.
Yeah, I'm a cousin. Cuzmin. Cuzmin. What did you give me the drink? And she grabs the skull splitter from you and looks at it and then looks at you.
Wait. I asked Gunny to take a sip with me first.
I'll drink from it. I take a large drink out of it.
Hey, it tastes like mead that has been strained through an old boot.
Oh,
it's a bit vinegary. It kind of numbs your tongue a little bit. It's kind of similar to that sensation you're recalling a long time ago when you ate some berries.
Familiar taste. I'll give it back to her.
That familiar numbing of the tongue, not quite as strong. This appears to be treated like possibly the fermentation process took away a lot of that numbing sensation.
So, Gunny, what did you actually do to my drink?
I would never do anything that would be harmful to you.
I saw you doing some kind of spell casting or something like that.
Fucking stab him. And you can see, not even trying to like hide it, Emma is passing a dagger under the table towards Lothana.
Emma, no, he's a friend. This is typical.
Isn't that how you flirt? You stab people and then you go to bed with them? Isn't that what you... never mind.
Only if I'm planning to assassinate them. I mean, yeah, I've done it before, but he's a friend. He's...
And when has that ever stopped you?
And what's your name, little one?
I'm Emma.
Emma.
And she just sort of waggles her head, tilts it to the side, and looks at you. Just sort of, her cheeks are a bit flushed. You can tell from drinking the alcoholic beverages that have been provided to her. And as she says that, you hear the sounds of the double doors from the 10-foot wide hallway leading into this dining hall open up. And if you turn and look, you can see now Volo wearing a foppish hat and his attendant standing a few feet behind him. And he says, "Ah, Queen Aurala, I have arrived!" And his voice echoing across the chamber, the crystal chandeliers seeming to vibrate from the sound of his voice echoing in the chamber. And the queen looks and says, "Volo, so good to finally meet you. I have heard so much. Please, you sit here. Prince Rognar will give you his seat." And without even looking in his direction, anyone who's glancing around the table will notice the prince immediately stands up and offers his chair to Volo.
Now Eli's curious who's on board his airship. Very curious. Did I not charge enough?
He's a great.
That's what he's thinking.
And Volo very quickly walks towards his feet, tapping on the tile, beautiful tiled floor, and he just sort of slides into the chair and just sort of sits next to him. "I heard a rumor that you have something for me to sign." And the queen is giddy, seems giddy at this point. Like maybe she had a little bit too much wine, and she... "Of course," and she holds up two fingers, pointing straight upward for a moment, turns, and then pulls, as if from nowhere, a big, thick, black leather-bound book with sort of a silver, platinum-colored filigree on the cover. "I've had it since it was published. Day one, I special ordered it. Your Guide to Monsters." And they then continue to sort of fawn over each other, and in the meantime, his attendant is standing not too far away from him, behind, just sort of turning their head every so often, still wearing the same getup, didn't change at all. The mask has now shifted from, has been replaced, but from the one that has sort of a smile, a happy look to it, and is continuing, hands resting on the hilts of their short swords, scanning the chamber. And at this point, Queen Wynarn is completely ignoring the rest of you. She is completely enamored by this individual. And the princess says, "If any of you were interested in seeing grandfather's collection, if you're not interested in speaking to the prince, I can show you. It's not too far from here." And you can see that she has eaten like maybe a third of her food, and she's now standing up, sort of looking around, meekly smiling at you all, trying to greet your eyes as she looks to each of you. Clearly bored.
Yes, I would love to see your grandfather's collection.
And she looks to you and she says, Oh, it's right this way. And she gestures towards the double doors where Volo and his attendant pass through. And she looks to the rest of the tables. Would any else of you like to come? And the prince now, who gave up his seat. Well, I was done with lunch anyway. Mr. Go, or Inder, what do you prefer, sir? Oh, Jesus, is Adam back yet?
Oh, it looks like it's just me. Or Zito, you want to come with me?
No, I'd like to talk to the prince.
Zito, you're gonna go talk to the prince?
Yes.
Okay. So, Eli, you want to go see the collection, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And Zito, you're gonna go off to the study, correct?
Yes, with the prince.
Okay. And what about the rest of you? Are any of you leaving the chamber to head off in either direction?
Hey, Emma, what do you think? What would be more interesting?
Getting more drink?
Well,
I'll share a drink with you, Emma.
Sure, why
You're
not?
hired. Where did you find this one?
Wow.
You wouldn't imagine.
Where did I find this one?
Is there more like you?
I'm back.
Where you
There's
come
none
from?
like me. Your cousin was kind enough to hire me, so.
Oh,
Oh, that's right.
really?
I did hire you, like, really
Cousin?
long time ago.
I didn't know you were paying for concubine service now.
No. No.
Well, if you're good with a blade, you don't have to pay.
Besides, he's flirting with one of the other crew members, so... No, he was my security person, like, I don't know, a couple of months ago when we met. Are you still keeping hours on that?
You didn't have a time limit, ma'am.
Oh gosh, how much do I actually owe you?
We'll have to work that out later.
Okay.
I can't count that high.
Well, how about another round? Oh, hey, Ender. I think that they were going to talk to the prince or something, and they wanted you.
Oh,
Yeah, the princess took Eli off. Did you want to go guard him while they make out? I mean, go check things.
The queen at this point has risen from her chair and with Volo and looks to the rest of you and says, I will be retiring for the afternoon. If you need me, please send a run. Speak to any of our servants, and I will help you in any way if I need to. Volo, dear. And she begins heading out the double doors away from the dining hall. Volo and Volo's attendant following closely behind.
Eli wanted to go with them.
Eli went with the princess, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
you're going with the princess. I see.
What about Zito? You went into the study, correct?
With the prince.
Yeah, with the prince.
With the prince, okay. Ender, the prince invited you. Did you want to go with him?
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
Okay.
You always give a prince or a king whatever he wants.
Okay. And then, Cortari, you're staying in the chamber with the rest of your former traveling companions?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's funny.
So,
Just for the listeners, Sabrina put in chat, title of this episode, Swipe Left, Swipe Right. which doesn't make sense to many of our listeners because of what we've been talking about in chat. Never mind. Can't.
So, well, I guess we'll go through in clockwise formation. We'll just start with Eli. Eli, you're led down the 10-foot wide hall with the princess, who reached out and grabbed your hand, and she's just sort of leading you very quickly down the wide halls, going forward, then taking a left, going away from what you saw. You heard the sound of the queen's voice trailing off, apparently going off somewhere off in the distance in the tower somewhere. And Esmer leads you to a double-doored chamber. It's not too far away from where you took a left-hand turn away from the hall leading into the dining hall. And she leads you into an octagonal chamber. And within the octagonal chamber, the thing that you notice first is that there is a dais in the center, and there is a boulder that seems to be suspended in midair, slowly turning in the center of this dais. And there are 4 pillars that stretch up to this vaulted ceiling. The ceiling has to be at least 50 feet high, and it arcs up into geometric shapes, meeting up in a point at the ceiling. And at the ceiling there is some sort of an illusion or enchantment, which is bringing in sunlight into this chamber, filling it up. There's a couple of elemental lanterns. There's a couple of what appear to be candelabras around the room. But that's not the most interesting feature. Besides this boulder that's spinning slowly, you can see creatures unmoving behind these low, I would say about calf or knee-high railings. And as you look around the chamber, Eli, you can see to your left, you see what look like large insect-like creatures unmoving. You see what look like some sort of strange undead creatures resembling that of a zombified humanoid, unmoving. You see a couple of chickens, unmoving, seemingly suspended. At the rear of the chamber, you see some strange mechanical constructs just beyond the large boulder that are suspended in midair, with appendages hanging, also unmoving. To your right, you see another hulking insectoid creature, which is standing there, its arms splayed out in front of it as if it were in motion, but it is completely unmoving. And finally, you see a winged bipedal form of a mottled, rust-colored skinned creature of a fiendish quality, huge wingspan, holding aloft a pitchfork, swooping horns that curve out from the side of its head, and its eyes are glowing, but it is also unmoving. And the princess looks to you and says, "This was grandfather's collection. Most of the time no one is allowed in here, so this is a great honor for any visitor to see it." And she gestures towards a couple of spaces where the candelabras, those were to be moved. If I'm to understand, Father was going to display a few items in their place. But I don't think that's going to happen now. I don't know why. And she looks to you and she begins sort of walking into the chamber, and she moves towards one of the pillars and she places a hand on it, but she doesn't touch it. She puts it within like a couple of inches of it, and as she puts her hand up towards the pillars, they seem to react to the distance of her hand to the pillar and then appear to glow a bit. And as she moves her hand over it, sort of smiling and giggling, and you can see that the illumination from the pillar seems to follow her hand. And they light up in these rooms. And then she pulls out a ball gag. No, I'm just kidding.
Eli turns to the princess. This is amazing. You know.
Do you
Although-
think so? Truly.
Yes, it's wonderful.
I
Never
I-
seen such before.
of course, the chickens were a joke. My brother, he put them in here. And she gestures to 4 chickens, which are just standing next to these hulking insect-like creatures on the ground. Not more than a foot off of the ground.
Eli turns to her. You know, Volvo is one of my passengers aboard my ship. If you ever want to
really?
take a ride on the New Horizon, you're always welcome.
You mean the dandy that Mother was so infatuated with?
Yes.
Huh. Interesting. So, tell me, Eli, do you have a girlfriend? And on that note, we're going to shift to the dining hall. In the dining hall, Emma, Gunthro, and Lithana, and Koratari, you're all now seated in an empty except for a few attendants still standing at the ready.
Do you mind bringing us some coffee?
And one of the attendants, a female now with raven black hair, says, Miss Coffee? I can of course bring you some coffee.
And Lithana looks at Emma and says, do you have the encoded message?
And Emma just sort of looks at you. Her eyes go wide a bit, and she says, "Really? You want to do this here?"
Well, it's fine. We can wait.
And she reaches into a satchel that she has slung over the arm of one of the chairs, and she pulls out this 3x5 booklet. It's in this sort of it's a leather-bound booklet, and it's wrapped around with a strap, which is buckled. And she hands it to you, and she says, "I couldn't make heads or tails of it. Maybe your contacts, you might be able to do something with it. It's written in a language I don't understand. I don't think it's a language, personally. I think that's why I said it is code. It's clearly a code of some sort. I've tried magic. I nearly blew my face off. That's why the pages are a bit singed. I apologize." And as she turns it over towards you and hands it to you, you can see that the edges of the pages are burnt in a few spots. Whatever it is was not intended for anyone else's eyes, but yours, apparently.
Mine?
Yes. The marches, the Nexus, Castor, any of this ringing a bell? I'm exhausted. And she just sort of slumps back in her chair with a goblet in one hand, staring across the chair over at you, Gunthral. Hey, Biggin.
Yes.
What do you say you and I get lost? You don't mind, do you? Are you done with this one? And she just sort of winks at you.
Oh my gosh, Emma, you are the worst. And she will pocket the book. And Gunny over here already has a girl.
Koratari
Who
has Koratari's been watching this whole exchange quietly.
Well, Emma, I'm not busy right now. Sure.
There's a bathroom right around the corner. Let me show you where the wild things are. And she stands up from the table, pushes it back, downs the rest of her drink, puts it down. I'll be back, cuz. Don't start deciphering it without me. And she begins leading you out of the chamber if you are willing to go with her.
Hey Gunny, she has some pretty good battle prowess. She's your type.
Yeah, we'll see.
Giving away my secrets, you whore.
Hey, you're the whore.
I'll leave.
Okay. So Esmer and Gunthral disappear around the corner, going the opposite direction that Eli and the princess went. And inside the chamber, Zito and Ender.
And me.
Yeah, that's you, Ender. And the prince. The prince looks to you, and as soon as the door closes, this foppish, overly enthusiastic demeanor just melts. The door closes, he locks it, he turns, he looks to the two of you, and he says, I didn't want to mention anything in front of my mother. I'm very concerned about what's going on in the West. Spy Master Thule has informed me that he's learned about an organization that calls itself the Azure Sky, and they're moving large shipments of some sort from the Shadow Marches via airships. Do you know anything about this?
Nothing yet.
I don't know where they're collecting shipments from, but I imagine that the Shogunate may have an idea. Perhaps the next time you head back to your homeland, maybe this is something you and your companions can investigate.
I can't make any promises, but
It is your
I am
homeland,
curious
isn't
as
it?
well.
It is your homeland, is it not?
Yes, of course.
What about you, Master
Zito?
Zito? What do you know of this? Do you know anything about the Azure Sky?
That name doesn't sound familiar to me.
Are
All
you
I
sure?
know is that... pretty sure.
I've heard rumors.
Do they have anything to do with missing sages?
To my knowledge, all I know is that they are dealing in large shipments of some sort, coming from the marches. And I would be a fool if I didn't surmise that the marshes are the largest export of Eberron dragon shards, so I would assume that perhaps that is what they are removing from the nation. To where and to what end, I do not know.
Neither do we. Yet.
Back in the octagonal chamber with Eli and the princess, what are you guys doing? The princess has locked the door, Eli, and is currently backing you into a corner.
You know, the horizon has great, views of the city.
And she just sort of pushes you closer towards the boulder thing, that dais in the center, trying to, seeming to back you up against one of those pillars.
Look at that great creature! And he kind of points to that giant flying flappy thing. Oh, those eyes look like it's staring at me.
And she looks at you and she goes, "Do you want to see it move?" And she moves past you and she rubs her hand down the pillar. And as she does so, the large insectoid hulking creature is no longer completely 100% frozen. It's moving slowly, as if it's slowed by magic.
You might want to make it stop. That's pretty dangerous.
You turn to look to it and look back, and she's already undoing her dress.
No, you want to stop that creature before.
And then There's a sound. She locked the door, but now you're hearing more sounds of locking mechanisms. Not coming from the direction of the door, but coming from the pillars. This ratcheting, clanking noise. And suddenly the creature is moving faster now. And it roars. And the sound is reverberating around the chamber.
Boom.
And then as you turn and look around, let me finish my descriptions first, sir. You can see now the chickens are moving. And then the other bug-like creatures are moving. And then the undead creatures are moving. But not the winged creature. Just those. And they suddenly begin coming to life. And I need you to roll initiative before you get to use your dimension door, sir.
What?
That's what you get, Eli. Alright, I've been protecting you this entire session. And then I go make one quick break, and look what you do. You run off with the princess without me.
And I'm gonna
I
share.
thought you were his bodyguard.
And I'm gonna share a map with you all.
Oh my gosh.
I hope it's a sex dungeon. And there's a bunch of nope, it's not a bunch of gimps.
It's a sex dungeon.
Where's Gunny when you need him?
Thank you.
He's creating his own at the moment.
We're gonna repopulate some of the population I killed off.
All right. Eli, the creature, the large creature, suddenly begins kicking the low little fencing that was around its structure, and begins stomping towards you.
Why does she have such an evil look on her face?
Because she's mad because she's not getting any right now. And the
True
creature,
story comes out.
the creature comes stomping towards you, and
Sexually frustrated princesses, am I right, guys?
You know, we could take this to the airship. I got a really nice pad.
make a charisma saving throw, sir.
Oh my god.
1.
Okay.
17.
17. All right. Well, thankfully, you are not incapacitated. Let's see. The creature's eyes are flashing in your face as it stomps towards you, roaring. Okay. And then it attempts to attack you with its enormous claws. Would you like to use your shield?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm gonna drop it on myself.
Okay. You're not gonna save the princess, huh? All right. Awesome.
Oh, he's attacking me. The princess. What do you mean? The princess is. I thought. Hold on. Pause real quick. Does Eli think it's a princess that's doing?
I should
She's
probably
lose control of.
let me just roll for her initiative too. There we go.
Because I thought she's the one that activated this.
Oh no. You're not sure.
Oh, okay.
You can assume that.
Well, she looked like she had like evil. Like her picture looks really evil.
No,
So
she's
that's not.
She's just angry because coitus was interrupted. Alright. comes up just in time as its large claw attempts to crash into you. It then swings and attempts to hit you again. This time it connects. It rolls a 26. And it bashes into you, but only does 6 slashing damage as it tears through your cloak, knocking your hat off of your head if you're wearing your captain's hat.
Oh, yes. I don't put that down. I am captain.
It then reaches forth, and these long, arcing, insectoid mandibles attempt to grasp you and puncture your body. And it critically hits you.
I'm going to use a luck right there.
Oh.
Whoa. Pause there. Hold up.
Okay.
He re-rolls.
No, hold on. Let me take that off. Let's see. That was 6
I know.
damage. There you go. All right. Go ahead and... is that how luck works? I don't think luck works on attacks, sir.
I can choose if it attacks me, or if I make an attack, or a saving throw.
Let's look at lucky.
It says... You have 3 life points. Whenever you make an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can spend 1 life point to roll an additional.
That's let's see. You
also
can choose to spend 1 luck points. Roll
when attacked.
you roll a die before you choose which of the d20 is used for the
Next
attack
paragraph.
roll.
Yeah, you can also spend 1 luck point when attack roll is made against you. Roll a d20 and then choose your attack. Let me see what I choose.
He still hits you.
I'll take that one.
He's still attacked. He still impacts you.
Even with shield? Dang!
He rolled a 23.
Yeah. We're getting out of here.
Slashing downwards, it impacts the and nearly cracks the side of this runic pillar, and deals 11 slashing damage to you with its mandibles as it bites into your torso. And it looks like it's rearing back to hit you again. And then on Husk Zombie Burster's turn, you just hear this horrible sound as this creature begins rushing towards, scrambling towards you, Eli, using its full movement to get to you, but it can't do anything on this turn. And now it's your turn, Eli.
I'm gonna cast him. I'm gonna grab the princess. Look into her eyes. Said, "Did you do this?"
No.
I'm gonna I'll grab her and I'll cast Dimension Door.
Okay. How's Dimension Door work, Eli?
Dimension Door works. Let's read the spell. It is a get out of jail free card.
It is.
You teleport yourself from a current location to any other spot in range, which is up to 200 feet, straight downward, upward, towards north, 45-degree angle, 300 feet. You can bring on objects as long as their weight doesn't exceed what you can carry. You can also bring 1 willing creature of your size or smaller.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to bring the princess with me.
Can you use it to a place that you cannot see? That's my question.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I have to, okay, where was it?
It's within 500 feet. It's
and
a
you
place.
Can visualize somewhere.
It
too.
can be a place you see or one you can visualize. Okay, gotcha.
Visualize. Yeah. So I picture a quiet spot outside the palace.
Outside the palace? You mean floating in the air? This place is suspended in midair.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go to the dining room then. How far is the airship from here? How far is the airship from here?
Pretty far.
Oh, okay. So I couldn't make that.
Yeah, it's
I gotta get a mile
far.
Dimension Door, man. That'd have been perfect.
Yeah.
Right there in Eli's quarters. Oh, look.
So Eli
and
you are about to be slashed by a zombie with Freddy Krueger nails. And you create this aperture and just sort of push the princess through it. And she, one half of her dress flowing open, exposing herself, or her underclothes, I should say, lands on top of the dining room table with you. Alright. So the creatures are going to continue to do their thing. The princess looks to you and says, "What was that all about?"
I don't know. Did you activate something in there?
You hear a resounding boom. Boom.
They're coming.
And I would say at this point, Gunthral and Esmer hear the sound of something, a horrible crashing, clattering calamity somewhere. And Esmer just sort of looks at you, Gunthral. She's hot. She's hot and sweaty, and she's looking at you. She's like, "What was that?"
Don't worry about it. It's just me.
Okay. Okay then.
And let me see here. I'm gonna cast a spell.
And would the rest of you be so kind as to roll initiative at this point?
Sure.
I'm not on the map.
You're not on the map? I'm sorry. Maybe I forgot to put you there. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Boom. Alright, so Zito, with your passive perception, you hear a resounding booming noise echoing throughout this place.
He doesn't look to the princess. What was that?
The prince looks at you, he's just sort of bewildered. Look at his face. I don't know.
Zito is gonna take out his firearm. He's going to unlock the door. Alright, so remember if you lock.
Nope, the door's open. Well, yeah, it was locked.
And he's gonna check into the dining room and see what's going on there. Says,
Okay.
What's going on there?
You're welcome to move yourself on the map to do so.
So it goes in there.
Okay. As you peek your head out through the double doors into the dining room, you see a panting Eli and Princess on top of the dining room table, and you can hear the sound of crashing, roaring echoing throughout the halls outside of the dining room.
What did you two do?
Nothing. She was showing me her grandfather's collection of monsters, and they just all came alive.
Lathana looks over and sees their position, and she's like, I see that. Sure.
No, it's not what it looks like. I had a dimension door to save us.
Zito's gonna cast mending on the princess's clothes.
Okay. If you can get to her. In the meantime, Ender, what do? You just watch Zito rush out of the room.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna ask Prince Rogar, what was that?
And he just sort of looks to you. Same response that he gave to Zito. I have no idea.
I'm gonna tell him to stay close.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my movement action.
All right. So you head into the chamber. You see the same sight of Eli. Parts of his clothing now are covered in like mashed potatoes and other bits of food that are stuck to him from the remaining plates that were on the table. The princess is putting her clothing back together. Zito is rushing forth to try and mend her clothing.
I'm moving there, and then end of my turn.
Okay. Gunthral, do you exit the bathroom? That would be where you would be on the map if you do.
Yeah. Do I see these creatures coming down?
Oh yeah, you see two giant insects that are rushing down the hallway, clattering, they're huge. They're filling this hallway.
Emma will have to finish this again in a few minutes. We got trouble down the hall.
And she
Stay
goes,
behind.
she looks to you and she says, agreed, and she pulls out her short swords.
And I'll move to there.
Okay.
It's 195 feet away. How is that?
195 feet away. That's crazy.
Sometimes fantasy grounds does that.
That's weird. It's definitely not 195 feet.
Well, it says 60 if I ran there, so I'll cast a spell.
Okay. Pantsless Gunthroll. You didn't have enough time to put the pants back on.
I love it.
I'm standing at the intersection so they don't go by.
You're dangle.
I shall... Hold on, how's that? A bonus action? Oh, I'm angry now because they interrupted my
You're
time.
You're happy time?
I'll go into a Moon Rage hybrid form.
Okay.
Standing there with my axe out, holding on to my other axe, and going down the hall. We have rope! And that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay. Whoops. I was trying to find your token for you. There you go, Gunthor.
Oh, thank you. Can you put my,
Yes. I'll put that on you.
need habit, so I just push a button, I can do it automatically.
You know, usually I have it programmed into combat tracker, but if I like had to like remove your thing from the tracker and put it back in, it deletes it. All right. On the princess's turn, she is going to slide off of the table and look to you, Eli, and slap you in the face. Or attempt to.
What do you mean? What did I do?
She misses. She rolled a 3.
What did I do?
She tries to slap you. She's like, "How dare you try to kiss me?"
Whoa.
That's all she does in her turn. Gunthor, you hear this clattering and crunching noise as this creature behind the other one suddenly is gone.
Okay.
Okay. And Auri, it's your turn. Are you...
Okay. I am going to make my way towards the sounds that I was hearing, but I'm going to give a little glance to Eli like, what? As I go by. And I'm going to be averting my eyes from Gunny's downstairs.
Yeah,
you're
you
a lot
see,
shorter though.
There's nothing to avert from. It's all natural.
You see 3 legs and a tail.
Oh! That's the end of my
2 going down, 1 going up.
Lithana, actually would have been your turn before Gunthor. What do you do?
She will look around and probably seeing Gunny transform down the hole. She will head that way.
Okay.
I think she could go 60 feet, right?
Yes, that's your maximum movement.
Alright, she will be right here.
As you look around the corner, looking to your right and to your left, you see Esmer in a state of undress, holding 2 short swords in her hands. Gunthor is dangling in his target form, and you see a giant insect creature with some ripped up tile behind it. You can just see between its legs. And do you do anything else? I believe that was your movement in action, correct?
As a bonus action, she would cast Hunter's Mark on
Unfortunately, you used your bonus action to move the extra 30 feet. Or
Okay,
your
that's
full
fine.
action. Your full action, I should say. Yeah, you don't.
She would just. She'll just look at Gunny and Emma and say, "So, how's it going?"
How's it hanging?
And her turn.
And Cortari, what do you do?
She will move toward the princess and help, like, try to cover her up.
Okay. Cortari just sort of leaps over the table, rushing towards the princess. And let's see. The creature now begins to sort of crash its carapace covered arms together, creating this horrible clacking noise as it begins to rush forth. And let's see. I need Gunthral and Lithana to make dexterity saving throws. Okay. Gunthral, you take 11 acid damage as this thing erupts a gout of this viscous fluid that smells, it reeks, and it lands on your fur, begins burning patches of your fur away in places. And Lithana, you take half of that. We'll go ahead and we'll round down and say you took 5 acid damage from that attack. And now it looks like it's getting ready to rush forth at you guys again on its next turn. And Eli, it's your turn again. Excuse me.
Eli is gonna take that half his movement to stand up off the table. Oh, I'm so sorry, but must take care of this, and he kind of heads off. Oh, well, I can only move 15, so I just have to go to the table. Ooh, I'm looking at the door.
Okay. The doors are wide open.
I can't really see anything, so
you see Lithana, who is like batting at her pretty dress that she was wearing, and you can see that she's like trying to get something off of her, and this horrible corrosive smell filling the hallway. You see Auri rushing forward, and you see Gunthral's dangle.
Oh, he's a tiger. Oh, crap. Eli, I'm gonna dash.
Okay.
To get there.
All right.
Because this is not good.
You come up right behind Auri as she is attempting to assess the situation as well. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, my turn there.
All right, Lithana, it is your turn. I have a question for you. Did you bring any armor or weapons with you to this luncheon?
She definitely brought her bow and arrow with her.
Okay.
If she was allowed her armor, then she
would
have worn.
They did not. You said you were wearing a dress though. That's why I was curious.
She's wearing her glamour weave.
Okay, gotcha. I just assumed you were Buffy the Vampire Slayer the movieing it. You know, leather jacket over your prom dress.
Yeah, no, she's still fully decked out. So she would focus and cast Hunter's Mark on this thing.
Okay. This thing will take your Hunter's Mark. This thing, which looks like this, for all of you at home.
Oh my goodness.
Is this thing undead from what she can see?
It looks very much alive.
So not undead.
As far as you can tell, no.
Alright. So she will launch an arrow, 2 arrows, one right after the other, and try to.
Okay. That is most definitely a hit as you knock an arrow with your vicious longbow, and it sinks, finding a soft spot in its carapace, dealing 11 piercing magical damage to the creature. And you can see it's horrible yellowish orange blood which spurts out from the attack as you knock another arrow, and once again almost plugging it in the exact same separation in its chitinous carapace.
And then she will run behind Eli. Whoop.
Okay.
She'll be like, yo, big bug thing, right? Around the corner.
And from behind, you hear Princess Corinne yell out, "He's so brave! Don't let him die!" On the Umber Hulk's turn, it just sort of emerges from the hallway. Gunther, you now see a much larger creature. Well, not the same size as the other one, which appears very similar to these insect-like creatures, but this one almost seems like a beefed-up steroid use version of one. And it comes rushing. Its hands claws out at the side, raking along the walls, destroying the stonework. The soft stonework is ripping gouges into the walls as it's rushing by. And Zito, it's your turn. You can see Koratari is attending to the princess. And your companions seem to be rushing out of the dining hall towards where Gunthrel's position is.
Alright, Zito's gonna come up to the princess, and he's gonna help her fix her clothes with the mending cantrip.
Okay.
Just, excuse me, mind the hands. And when that is done, he's gonna move the rest of the 15 feet up into the hallway. Or at least closer to the hallway.
Okay. You can make your movement if you'd like.
Right, I'll end my turn there.
Okay. Zito rushes forth. You can see down the hallway, you can see 4 of your companions in the hall. And let's see. The ink keg does not get its acid spray back. It rushes forth and slams into you, Gunfrol, clawing you as hard as it possibly can. And then attempting to claw at you.
Force.
And then attempting to bite you. And it critically hits you. Let's see. And you are grappled.
Okay.
And you take, let's see. Well, for some reason that's not taking the regular damage off of you for some reason. Let me fix that. Let's see. 7, 12, 15. So half of that damage. There we go. Adjusted it for you. For some reason it wasn't working. Gotta fix that. I know we've had that issue before where it doesn't there we go. try that again. There we go. We'll see if that works next time.
Okay.
But in the meantime, it has you in its mouth. And it's your turn. Would you like to attempt to use your action to escape?
No. I'm going to cast a spell.
Okay.
Freedom of movement.
Freedom of movement. Okay.
I will move 5 feet to the south. I automatically get out of any non-magical grapple.
Okay. You making the arcane sigils with your hand, is that a vocal somatic component?
It says I can cast a spell while grappled.
Yeah, no, I was just curious how you do your spell. Like how you...
Let me look it up real quick.
No worries. So you managed to
It
slip
is
out of
a
its...
vocal component.
So you just kind of...
No, sorry, that's Guardian of Faith. Sorry. Discard.
No worries.
It is a... yeah, it's a vocal, somatic, and...
Okay, so yelling in this creature's face to your deity, making the motions, weapon in hand, you slide out of its jaws.
And I will, in my bonus action,
And I'm going to take that grapple effect off of you.
Oh, in my turn.
Okay.
Or actually, hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying to look up the spells, see if I can do it at range.
No worries.
I will, as a bonus action, I shall... Oh, no, I already cast one spell. Done.
Okay. You hear this horrible sound that echoes through the hallway as the zombified creatures are now rushing and running as fast as they can. Let's see. Creature scrambling through the legs of the Umber Hulk, rushing down the hall. And Cortari, it's your turn again. Would you like to continue to just back up the princess, or what would you like to do?
I have a question. Would Cortari know what this is and how to, like, stop it?
Apparently somebody has unlocked the stasis on the queen's her inherited collection, the one that belongs, the one that was where that delivery was intended to be brought to. It's an octagonal chamber where various creatures are held in stasis as like a museum collection. And then apparently someone has disabled the stasis.
Okay. Where I'm not sure where I am in relation to the creature.
You are currently in the dining hall, smack dab in the middle, next to the table, right next to the Princess Corinne.
Okay. I'll try to take her and like run the opposite way.
Okay. There is it's a short ways away is the study, which is where the prince went to. He has not emerged from the study yet. So you want to take her there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You can totally take her there. You just, with your regular movement, you can move her there. Let's see. Your movement is 40. There we go. You're able to take her by the arm. She does not protest. She goes with you. And that's the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay. On Esmer's turn, she takes her short swords, rushes forth towards the ink-head creature, and slashes into the creature with her short swords. And, excuse me. Gunthrow, as you turn and look at Esmer, like as she was coming up, she was dragging her short swords along the sides of her legs, seeming to crack something that was strapped around her thighs that you thought were just weird garter belts. They appear to have been poison vials. She coated her blades, and in one fell swoop, smacked into this creature. And it fails. And takes 27 poison damage and falls dead as she stabs into the creature with her short swords. And she looks to you and she says, I know you softened it up. And looks to you, Gunthrow, looks back in the direction where Lilthana went and says, we've got more trouble coming, apparently. And Ender, it's your turn. You're rushing.
I'm gonna rush in.
Okay. Do your full action and movement to get to there, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Duck and weave past Eli and Ari and stand in front of. End of my turn.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's all that he's going to do on his turn. On the prince's turn, Koratari, you watch as the prince, who was scrambling, looking for a weapon, turns around and looks at you, Koratari, as you rush into the room with a weapon out. He has a sword pointed straight at you, and he says, oh, it's you. Good lord. Corinne, are you okay? And the other creatures are rushing out of the chamber, heading down this 10-foot wide hallway. You just hear the sounds of clacking and the exaltations of the creatures. And Ari, it's your turn again. Ender just sidestepped in front of you with his weapon drawn.
Okay, I'm gonna gently push him aside as I go around him, and I'm gonna touch Gunthrow as I go by him and cure wounds him.
Okay.
I'm also going to tell him, hey, maybe you should cover.
Maybe you should cover your dangle. Nice. 22 healing points to you, Gunthrow.
Yay. Okay, and then I'm going to use the rest of my movement to go ahead, and my bonus action I will turn into a polar bear and get ready for them to come down the hall.
Okay.
And that is my turn.
Man, here I am trying to protect them, and they're like running in front of me.
I
Yeah.
can be a bear.
She could be a bear.
I know.
She's tough. She's a tough old bear. Tough little bear. There we go. I give you a red ring because you're angry.
Oh, I'm angry.
Angry Auri. Is that the end of your turn, Auri?
Yes, it is.
The diminutive form of your companion, your druid companion, passes by. You can feel the healing abilities wafting off of her hand. It almost looks like there are vines coming off of her hands, just coalescing and manifesting off of her hands and wrapping around your wounds, and then turning brown into dust and falling off, and you can feel the healing energy that is passing through your body. And Koratari, it's your turn again. You're now standing in the hallway, staring at the prince, Corinne at your side. Would you like to continue to shelter in place? To coin a phrase?
Gosh.
No, I'm gonna shut the door so they're in the room, and I'm gonna head toward where the creature is.
Okay. I'll say you shove Corinne in there, and you can use your movement. I'll say as part of your movement and action, you shoved her in there, and you're able to rush. You're not quite there, though. You're still in the dining hall. Zito's in front of you. So that'll be your turn. And Eli, it's your turn.
Eli will move up to Gunny,
Okay.
see him in his form, and remind Gunny how dangerous it is if someone saw him in that form.
Yeah, Eli, make a perception check.
Gunny, what are you doing? Perception. 14.
It's faint, but you can hear the telltale sound of what sounds like metal armor in the distance echoing. Just this rattling noise.
Gunny, what did we talk about? And I'm gonna touch him on his shoulder and cast greater invisibility.
Okay. Gunther suddenly blinks out of focus.
I'm gonna wrap up.
Popping
And,
noise as he's suddenly invisible.
I'll cower behind Ender.
Okay.
Ender, please help me. And then my turn.
Okay. On Esmer's turn, she just sort of rushes past, looks, and as sort of cartwheels over, standing in front of you, Auri, she sets her swords down in front of her, spins around, pulling out her light crossbow, aiming it towards one of the undead creature in the distance. And let's see. Does 7 piercing damage with her bow. And absolutely 0 poison damage to the creature because it is immune to poison damage. And she just yells, "Blast! Olithana, need your help with undead up here." And Gunthral, you are an invisible.
Can I charge down the hall? If I tackle the guy up front, zombie burster 2, can I knock him into the armor? Trying to make him fall?
You mean the giant bug?
Yeah. See the little bug up front? Knock him into the big bug.
You can certainly try.
Alright, I run down the hall at full speed and try to tackle the sucker into the...
Okay. So this would essentially be like an athletics check. Unfortunately, you cannot get to him. You would need to use your action to do so.
I'm looking at my form where I can charge and tackle.
That's in
Where
your
are you?
that's in your tiger form, not your were-tiger form. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. It's been a while since you used your ability.
Tiger or hybrid form.
Oh, hey, there you go. How's that work for pounce?
I'll just wait till they get closer and have to do it then, I guess. It says I have to move at least 15 feet.
Yeah, because it's like 45 feet just to get to the first one.
Okay, I'll just wait.
Okay, you want to hold your action?
Yeah, held the action until they get in range, Mark.
But they're in range of me for everything I can do. I'm a spellcaster, not a melee. I'm just
Only cast
upset.
spells.
Oh, I'm upset because he interrupted my,
You interrupted
introduction.
You interrupted his dangle, and they interrupted his sexy time.
Alright.
Everybody's getting sexy time.
Alright, I'm gonna cast a spell.
Okay.
I don't see Gunny, by the way.
Got a range of 300.
That's because he's invisible.
I get it.
What are you casting?
Centering it there, I'm gonna cast Ice Storm.
Okay. You will hit those 3. Totally hit those 3. Is that an instantaneous or does that continue?
Instantaneous, it's just one hit.
Gotcha. So it gets a little colder in here. Your breath starts to form in front of you, your bare face, Auri. As you can hear the sound of ice crystallizing in front of you. Down the hallway. And it looks like that's 2 failures and a save. As these chunks of ice begin to batter into the zombified creatures and the Umber Hulk. Which I just realized I didn't show you guys what that looks like. It looks like this. It's literally a bug that's the Hulk.
And I shall end my turn.
Okay.
Or you want to make me visible? And, oh wait, see where
Yeah, we'll just say that you're invisible still. You can... I don't know if he dropped that on you. He should have dropped that on you. There should be...
Yeah.
There should be... Yeah, there's an effect you can drop on him. There you go.
You
I'll
just
move
disappeared it before I could see him.
Alright, so does that... That doesn't create like a movement thing on it, does it? Or does it make the area rough terrain? It's like half movement?
No, it is not.
Okay.
Hold on, let me double check.
Okay.
Nope. It just does damage.
Okay.
And anyone entering that area for the turn will take the damage.
Okay.
It lasts for the whole round,
Gotcha.
and it goes away.
Does it do damage on each of their turns too, or
Nope, just
no?
one. This one.
Okay. All right. This creature now rushes forth towards Bear Owry and Esmer, seeing big ol' Owry in front of it, and begins slashing into Owry's body with its claws. These long, elongated, Freddy Krueger-like claws. Looks like this.
Oh, he's cute.
And the creature now attempts to slash into your body, hitting you and doing 7 damage to your bear form as it claws into you, carving a swath into your bear hide, and then attempts to rake into your body once again, hitting once again, slashing into your bear body, doing another 8 slashing damage with its claws.
8.
And the other creature will rush between the legs of the Umber Hulk, past it, getting up into the face of Esmer. Oops. There we go. And that's its turn. And Lithana, it's your turn. You hear the sounds of what can only be described as an ice storm going on somewhere ahead of you.
Alright, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. Okay, so I'm moving past Eli and Ender.
Okay. Are you coming to a stop right there behind where Gunthroll would be, even though he's invisible?
Nope, sorry. I'm trying to move it. It's not.
Okay.
Alright, can I see the zombies? Can I get a clear shot from where I'm at? I do ignore
Well,
3/4.
you ignore cover. You can totally hit them.
Alright, I will be like, hey, Gunny, duck, and then I will shoot the husk.
Okay.
Oh, I also use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay. And that is most definitely a hit. As you knock an arrow and catching an opportunity as Owry moves just out of the way to hit it. You then knock another arrow and catch it. And when the arrow hits the creature, it catches it in the eye and the head. And then there's a sudden strange reaction where its head is swelling. Its eyeball swells to the size of a grapefruit. Its head is misshapen in places and it's bulging out. Its body begins to bulge in strange places, and then it explodes and showers this viscous material all over Esmer and Owry. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, Owry. Would you like to use your inspiration?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think I will.
Okay.
Way better.
So you'll take half damage. You will take 5 poison damage from that attack. And there we go. And let's see, Esmer, let's make a save for her too. And Esmer fails.
I'm going to use my inspiration to give it to her.
I don't think that's how that works.
Damn it.
Yeah, sorry. She takes. She partially resists that damage, and only takes half. She takes 8 poison damage from that attack. Is that the end of your turn, Lithana?
Yep.
Okay. On the Umber Hulk's turn, it suddenly begins to bash its claws together and then rushes down towards yours, Auri, and Esmer's position. And I need you both to make charisma saving throws. In fact, yeah, I need Gunthral, Lithana, Auri, or actually no. Lithana and Guthrie, you're okay because Auri's blocking his line of sight to you. But Esmer will make a charisma save. And Auri makes her save. Neither one of you, its eyes are suddenly like brilliant and flashing like strobes. Lights reflecting off of its sectional eyes. And that's its turn. Ender, it's your turn.
I'm gonna stay right there. And
Okay.
End my turn.
All right. Gonna hold your action.
I'm trying to think, like, you know, I don't want to go up in there too close because of that zombie burster.
Lithana's picture is cracking me up.
I'm gonna end my turn right here. I don't have to save it.
Okay.
Go.
Zito, it's your turn. You just hear a lot of commotion, and you keep seeing your companions rushing down the hallway around the corner.
Alright. I'm gonna use my bonus action to cast, what was it, Expeditious Retreat?
Okay.
So I'll move over there, and then I will roll my turret across the ground so that it's right in front of, or right behind Ari.
Right behind Auri, your turret?
Yes.
Okay. Zito
And
looks
that'll be
around
my
the corner and rolls a ball on the floor. It goes scattering right behind Auri, pops out with its legs. And Auri, it's your turn.
Is there a way for me to hit this zombie around Esmer, or is she just in the way?
You would have to switch places with her.
Okay.
If she is
I'm
willing.
gonna switch places with her and
Okay.
hope that she's willing.
All right.
I'll nudge her back with my little nuzzle, just like, get behind me.
Okay.
Okay, and now I'm going to try and bite at this thing's stupid skinny leg.
Okay. That is most definitely a hit as you bite into the zombie burster's leg, doing 10 piercing damage to it. It looks rough. It looks...
And now
its body is
I'm
actually
gonna-
starting to pop in places and inflate.
Now I'm gonna try and slap it again, but this time with my claws.
Okay. That's also a hit. And the creature pops like a water balloon.
I wince and get ready to get hit by that gross stuff again.
Make a Constitution save.
Oh, no.
Would you like to use your
I
inspiration?
will use my other inspiration. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you'll take half damage. You take 12 poison damage. I'll let you adjust that yourself. There you go. And let's see. See what the Hulk takes. He's going to take the full brunt of that. As the creature pops and does 18 poison damage to the Umber Hulk.
Nice.
And
I end my turn. I'm quite proud of myself.
I should say so.
Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I run south 60 feet back to the room?
Yes, on your turn. Did you move on your turn?
No.
You didn't?
Well, technically, I ended my turn, and I was just sitting here thinking what else I could do, and I thought maybe it'd be better if I guard the royal family.
I will say if you want to retcon and say use your action to move, you can. But you,
Okay.
I could have swore you moved a little bit on your turn, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I did. I took a 5-foot step forward and said I was going to end my turn.
Okay, so you got 55 more feet if you decided to do that instead. Usually they don't. Usually you can't use your held action to move, is what I'm saying. You use your held action to
I
attack.
see.
So technically, no. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to move.
I'm fine with that. Anyways, I was just trying to make use of my turn. That's it.
No worries. Let's see. So, Auri, there is a sudden crunching noise as the ground directly in front of you seems to be, the tiles are erupting and starting to be pushed upward, like something is directly in front of you. And that's it. Eli, it's your turn.
Oh.
This will be the last. This will be the last round. It is 10 o'clock. 10:01 actually.
Eli will get to there.
Okay.
he-
Tight cramped quarters. All your companions are directly in front of you, except for Gunthrower. You can't see because he's invisible.
Can I look around the corner and see the creature? No.
You can peek as your free action with the environment, and you can see a big old bear and something else behind it a ways away. And you're all continuing to hear now the sounds of the echoing of clattering now are filling these chambers, and you can hear very faintly, "Get to the royal family!"
I'm going to. I can't really get in that mess, can I?
It is a bit ugly in there right now.
I'll use my action to move back. I can't really get in there. The halls are too cramped. I'll sit here. I'll move 30 feet right there.
Okay.
You know, and I'll just keep concentrating on Gunny.
Okay.
You know, he's a good man.
Zito, it's your turn.
Alright. Zito is going to go back to this torch over.
Okay.
and he's gonna cast Spider Climb and see if he can climb up the walls and hold on to the torch.
Okay. You're now hanging off of the side of the wall on your using your spider climb ability. How long does that last for?
Up to a minute, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're now currently just sort of resting your hand on the side of this sconce, which is in the wall, as you're sort of body sticking straight out, looking down. It's kind of a weird visual to you, but you can see straight down. You just see your companions, big old bear Auri, and then this hulking behemoth beyond her.
Alright, and since that was my action, I'm gonna use my bonus action to send my turret up in front of Ari
Okay.
and launch a flamethrower at this creature.
Okay. Go ahead and target and attack it. Auri, this little ball with legs, looks like a metal insect, goes underneath your body, and as soon as it comes out, it shoots a gout of eldritch flame at the creature in front of it. But the flame just goes wonky and sets a painting on the side of the wall on fire.
For what it does, it rolls the attack for the force, and then it does the DC for the Umber Hulk, which looks like it failed.
Yep. It failed the DC, but you failed your attack.
It's not an attack. It
Oh, it's
rolls
not?
that for the force. The flamethrower is just the deck save.
Oh, okay. So it failed its dex save. Hey, so instead of just the paintings being lit, the Umber Hulk is momentarily caught in this eldritch fire.
I don't know why it rolled it 2 times.
Yeah, that's weird. I'll take the extra 5 off. I'll keep the 11 and take the extra 5 off.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay. And Auri, it's your turn again. Got this little mechanical tick in front of you that just fired fire at the Inkeg.
I'm gonna very carefully try and place my front paws over it so that I don't step on it, and
Okay.
go for the Umber Hulk.
All right, we'll just kind of switch positions a little bit. There you go.
Perfect. I did that as delicately as a giant polar bear can.
Okay. Make another charisma save.
You got it.
You can also use your action to avert your eyes so you don't have to make this save.
You know what? I'm gonna make the save and
Okay.
hope that it goes.
All right.
that well.
Unfortunately, that is a failure.
Okay.
So as you rush forth towards the creature, your eyes are dazzled by this light that seems to reflect off of its multifaceted eyes, and you are incapacitated.
I'm sorry, I'm what? You cut out.
You are incapacitated. You can't take reactions until the start of your next turn.
Okay, can I still try it in a second?
Actually, no. Incapacitated means you can't do anything.
Okay, well then, I can't.
So you're just sort of like,
You're mesmerized.
mesmerized by this creature.
Okie dokie.
And let's see, Esmer will have to repeat her save as well. And gosh, she failed too? Dang, she failed too. Yeah. All right. That's not good. All right. And let's see. There is a rumbling sound as Esmer is suddenly pushed backwards, as well as the little tick creature. As suddenly, the Inkeg that you all watched, those of you who were in the hallway when it happened, suddenly bursts forth from under the ground, erupting, sending pieces of tile and floor free as it burrows out of the floor and then attacks Esmer. And misses. Somehow misses. And Cortari, it's your turn. You are currently by yourself, still in the dining hall. Would you like to move forward towards the battle?
Yes, I'd like to join the group.
Okay. Would you like to get into the hallway with your companions? Because you can totally do that. Okay, you can use your full action and movement. You can get in there. You can just see this calamitous amount of action that's going on. These two giant creatures, these bug creatures, which are attempting to attack companions and people that you just met. And Lithana, it's your turn.
All right. Wow, this is a big mess. So she will move her hunter's mark to said big insect creature.
Okay.
And then very deftly she will shoot it. Well, she's like right next to it, so.
You can still plug at it. You ignore cover, even though Esmer is currently sort of leaning back and forth, bouncing off of the wall, nearly stepping into the open mouth of this inkhead creature. You continue to plug it with your arrows. Its viscous, gooey blood is splattering on the walls and on your companion in front of you.
And she'll just be like, "Can someone help Emma?" And
Okay.
that's the end of her turn.
All right. On the Umberhawk's turn, it will attack Bear Owry 3 times. Owry, you're just sort of you're sort of phasing in and out of your mental capacities at the moment, but you just have a moment to see these crashing arms attempting to smack into you as the first call goes wide and then its second call goes wide again. You just seem to be ducking it without even using any sort of effort. And finally its mandibles attempt to pierce into your body, critically hitting you.
Yeah.
And you take 22 damage. You drop out of your bear form. And I believe you're prone, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
What? I shouldn't be, no.
No, I'm sorry. You just pop out of your bear form.
Yeah, I just come out of my...
You're still
animal.
incapacitated. I don't know why, but it didn't stay on you. There we go. And that's its turn. It is Gunthrel's turn. Gunthrel, you're invisible.
I'm gonna reach over, grab Esmer, and switch places.
Okay. She is completely incapacitated, so you're able to do that no problem. And she won't take an opportunity attack from the inkhead.
I said, "Get safe, dear," as I cast a spell.
Okay.
Spirit Guardians, 3rd level.
Okay.
And it will hit both.
Yep, it'll hit both of them. And does now, just a point of order, does not do damage when you cast it. It does damage on their turns.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something that I just learned recently about spells like this, like the cloud of daggers, moonbeam. They don't actually do damage when they're cast. They do damage on the creature's turn.
Okay.
Okay.
And I shall end my turn.
Which we will see that damage in 2 weeks. And Ender, it is your turn. Spectral flying snakes suddenly are zipping around the walls, bouncing off the walls.
Can I share the same space with that small robot?
I don't think you can share a space with it. You can't end your turn in the space of another creature.
You can move out of the way.
You can move it out of the way.
I can let it be willing.
If there's space for it to move to, that's the problem. Esmer and this creature are in its space. But you have ranged attacks, don't you, Ender?
I do.
If you'd prefer to do that rather than trying to wibbly-wobbly your way past those two. Because you'd be able to do it with one of them, but I don't think you'd... you know what? Heck with it. I'm ruling you can move both of them. So you can move Esmer first and then the creature. Just sort of like push her aside with your movement and then push the other creature with your foot out of the way. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. So we'll move Esmer. We'll say you get pushed back. This creature gets pushed back. And then Ender, you are able to get in there right up next to this creature, drawing your weapon.
Alright, so how I want to do this is I'm going to attack it, of course.
Okay.
And I'm going to aim for its claws and its talons and stab at it instead of slashing.
Okay. That is most definitely a hit. Cutting deep into it, lopping off some of its vestigial limbs. None of the bigger limbs, but you've lopped off a couple of its tinier carapace-covered limbs with your first attack.
Alright, I'm going to do the same thing.
Okay. That is unfortunately a natural 1. As you catch back...
I'd like to use my inspiration.
You actually... yeah, go ahead. I was going to say you elbow Gunthrow in the throat because you didn't see him. For comedic effect. That's a hit.
Can we say that happened anyways?
Sure. Gunthrow, you were casting the spell on... Suddenly you got an Ender elbow in your throat. And you carve into this creature and crisscross X fashion cut the side of its head off, spouting the horrible viscous fluid. And as the body begins to crumple, looking beyond it, you see a diminutive form of Auri. It's just sort of swaying back and forth as the hulking Umber Hulk raises both arms up over her, looking like it's about to pound her into the ruined tile floor. And that's where we're going to end for tonight. And we'll find out in 2 weeks what happens.
What?
Oh.
2 weeks?
There's a lot about Ender's self that he doesn't quite understand yet, and you keep making him search deeper, longer, in inward thinking towards himself, and you're just creeping him out.
Well, I can help you get to that soft, chewy center. Is that like 1?
No.
2?
Three.
And we found the line. No, I'm just kidding.
And there's your outro for this episode.